Good
Good morning.
morning.
Good morning.
Howdy.
Howdy. I love that.
Morning.
Let me just take a quick photo to make sure I get everyone that is here on time. Thank you for being on time this morning.
Oh.
All right. If you notice, my background looks a little bit different today. It's because I am in Maryland. Yes, Eric Palmer, I'm not in the office. I am in Maryland, where my wife is from and her family. It is an exciting week in our life because my brother-in-law Marcus and his fiancee Kate are getting married this weekend. So we are down here for the wedding, and we just got here late last night. We rolled in about midnight, so I worked all day yesterday. Went home with the minivan, loaded up the kids, drove 5 hours, hit Burger King drive-through at like 9 o'clock at night, which I regret right now. And then woke up this morning and excited to be with you all. Yeah.
You should have just looked in.
I should have just slept in. I know I should have, huh? It's the working life, though.
You would have been like, it's fine, no snitching.
I could have just canceled class today. Be like, you've been working so hard all week. Just take the day off. Don't tell Malik, all right?
Yeah, we wouldn't though. Like no one would snitch.
Yeah.
We need that day off.
So yeah, I'm in Maryland, and I'll be working down here all week, and then I'll be back in New York next week. So. But yeah, it's very exciting. We're excited for them. They're getting married on 10/10/20, so they'll all remember their anniversary. It's an easy day to remember. So 10/10/20. So maybe I'll try to share some photos next week. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into today's class. Thank you so much, everyone, again, for being here on time and having your cameras on if you're able. Today's assistant instructor is Ashley Gavin. Are you here, Ashley? I see you.
Yeah, I'm here.
How are you doing today?
I'm good-ish. How are you?
I'm good-ish as well. Tired, a little sick, but making it through. Thank you so much for being our assistant instructor. So I'm sure you know the questions, but let me remind you, we want to know where you're from. We want to know why you joined Year Up, and we want to know something interesting about you.
Okay. I am from America, I guess. But my mom is from Haiti and my dad's from Ireland. So,
Awesome.
And I joined Europe at first because my sister did it and she told me about it. It's a really good opportunity. But now I think it's really good to, advance my adulting. So it's really good. And I don't know any interesting facts about me. I don't think I'm that interesting. I don't know. Every time they ask me these questions, I usually just say that I speak sign language, but that's about it.
That's a really interesting fun fact about you. Very cool. What made you want to learn how to sign?
My mom had put me in a deaf school from when I was in 3rd to 8th grade, even though no one in our family's deaf. So that was interesting.
Yeah. Well, that's an important skill to know. Excellent to have that ability. Great. All right, Ashley, and I don't know if you remember this from yesterday, but one of the things we're changing up is we're asking the assistant instructor, which is you today, to ask an icebreaker question to the group. So yesterday, the icebreaker question was, who's your favorite actor or actress? Do you have an icebreaker question for us for today?
If you could be any animal, what would you be?
Oh, all right, Ashley Gavin, I like it. Thank you so much. So go ahead in the chat box. If you could be any animal, what would you be? Wow, we see a lot of lions. Okay. Shantae's an eagle. Ashley's a lobster, a unicorn, a mushroom, a roach, a hawk, a tiger. Wow, bird that flies. A lot of lions. I'm with Rahul. I don't want to be a wolf. A honey badger, Ricardo. So that's a good one. A dolphin, Julissa says. I like that. What about you, Ashley Gavin? What would you be if you could be any animal?
I'm the same as Julissa. My favorite animal is a dolphin, so I'd probably be a dolphin.
And what makes being a dolphin so interesting to you?
I like swimming. That's my thing, or like my hobby pre-corona. So
I
love swimming.
Awesome. Do you like swimming in pools or oceans or wherever you can get water? You don't mind?
In pools. I'm not a big fan of the beach.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, I totally understand. Yeah, that was one of the things that I enjoyed doing as well, was swimming in pools. But yeah, those days are behind us, unfortunately. Hopefully we'll be back in pools soon. So awesome. Well, let's go ahead and give Ashley Gavin a clap. Once again, to remind you, Ashley is the only person allowed to interrupt me today. If you have something you want to say, you raise your hand, you put it in the chat box. She'll be monitoring that, and she can say, hey, Eric, someone has a comment, and we're happy to, field that. All right. Real quick, I was told that I have to inform all of you of this important information. So there's some confusion about ACE college transfer credits. So this class does qualify for a recommendation for a college credit. If you decide down the road you want to go to college or community college or whatever, you can actually utilize this class as an opportunity. The only way you can do that, though, is if you get a 70% or higher in this class. So some people have this idea like, oh, if I get like a 61, it's still technically passing. Okay. And that's actually not true. You have to get a 70 or higher, number one, to pass this class for year up, and number two, to qualify for college credits. So I just want to put that out there as a public service announcement, that if you're, most of you are above 70, but if you're under 70 and you're planning on using this for college credit down the road, you have to pull your grade up the second half of the mod, because you need a 70 or higher for it to be qualified for college credit. Just a quick PSA. I wanted to let everybody know, because there is some confusion about that. To pass this class, you need a 70 or higher, and to qualify for college credit, you need a 70 or higher. If you don't know what your grade is, go to Schoology and check it out. That's for all the mods. Amadul asked, yeah, every mod, you need to get 70 or higher to get college credit, to qualify for college credit. That's the thing. It's we can't guarantee you're going to get it, but we can offer a recommendation. I took this class. This was the syllabus. This was the coursework. This is what I earned. And then it's up to your school to determine if they're going to give you college credit. We can't determine that. Each school is different. All right. So I just want to put that out there for a PSA. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about budgeting. The first part of the day, we're going to talk about why budgeting is important, why it matters, and it's going to be a conversation. It's going to be very open form. I'm going to show everybody a video of about 10 minutes long that I want you to watch and sort of digest. And then the last part of the class, we're going to do a demo budget and kind of figure out cost of living and all those good things moving forward. So first thing I want to ask the group is, remove the chat box. On the right side of the screen where all of our names are, give me a green check if you think the statement is true, and give me a red X if you think the statement is false. And I'm going to put it in the chat box so you can read it and also hear it. True or false? Having a large paycheck means you're automatically rich. Green check, true. Red X, false. All right, Mohammed B., you put a red X up there very quickly. Why is that statement false, do you think?
Yeah. First of all, the check is just it depends how much you're making a weekly or bi-weekly.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get the check, you might need to spend it on your bill or food.
Mm-hmm.
Probably you have a family too that take care. So it doesn't mean you rich automatically.
So you mean to tell me that if you make $1,000 a week, you're not automatically rich? Why not? Why can't? That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is a lot.
Why aren't you automatically rich? You make $1,000 a week.
No, you need a saving too. You need to save money to be able to be rich. Rich people, they don't just become rich in one day or 1 year. They save it until they get rich.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thanks, Mohammed. Mahmoud, you also said, no, that's not a true statement. Why is having a big paycheck doesn't automatically make you rich? What do you think, Mahmoud?
Well, you have to really budget your money. And with a lot of people, as their paycheck goes up, their spending tends to go up. So they sort of end up in the same spot in terms of their actual savings and how much money they actually have on hand.
Yeah, absolutely, Mahmoud. You hit on something that is so critical that a lot of people don't understand. It's called lifestyle drift. Does anybody know what that term means? Put in the chat box if you have an idea what lifestyle drift means. Mahmoud kind of alluded to it, but we'll build it out because it's a very important point. Essentially, what's the idea like this? So let's say that I'm just starting off in my career, and let's say I make, $35,000 a year, and I live in, a uncool neighborhood. I live in, somewhere in the Bronx, and I got 2 roommates, and I go to the diner on Friday nights, and my clothes are all from, Target, and my vacation is going to the Jersey Shore, and that's just the lifestyle that I live, and that's fine, and I'm comfortable with that. It's the life that I built for myself. But let's imagine that I get a promotion, or let's say I get married, and now I have a combined income of $100,000 a year. Okay, so then me and my partner decide, what, we got a pretty good amount of money coming in every single month. Let's leave this neighborhood in the Bronx. Let's go move to like a trendy neighborhood like the West Village. And oh wait, our neighbors don't go to the Jersey Shore. They go to Bali on vacation, and they don't shop at Target. They shop at, I don't know what a fancy store is, because I don't shop at fancy stores. Where's a fancy store? Someone help me out. They shop at Gucci. Thank you, Majida. They shop at Gucci. They go to the Hamptons. They have really cool stuff that I don't have. So what lifestyle drift is that, because my income has increased, what Mahmoud said, therefore my spending has increased. And just because I'm earning more money, now I feel the need to spend more money. You see? And it happens to a lot of people. They earn a little bit more, they start spending more. It's lifestyle drift, not drip. I have a sore throat and having a hard time speaking this morning. So that's the reality, is that just because you have a large income doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be wealthy. It's very easy to fall into the trap of saying, oh, I'm earning money now, so I'm going to spend more money. Moses, I see your hand. Do you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, from what you described, it also sounds like there's like an external factor to it as well.
Yes. Well, absolutely. What do you mean by that?
Well, what I've heard you describe is like, what you described is that they moved out of their neighborhood, something they're used to,
Yep.
or people around them, and they had to match their lifestyle to the people around them instead of, keeping their lifestyle and just moving into a different location.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing of it is that I can imagine that this imaginary couple that we're making up, they probably felt a pressure, right? Like, I want to fit in with people around me, so I'm going to, do what I can. And we call that expression, how many of you have heard this one before? Keeping up with the Joneses. Nod your head if you've heard that one before. Saying, oh, I have to keep up with the Joneses. I have to do what they're doing, or else I don't fit in. Definitely a psychological effect there. Great observation, Moses. Ashley Buffon?
This topic just brought up how I had a best friend who worked a full-time job, and I worked a part-time job, and she never had money, and I always had money, and I could have never understood why, but it's because I was budgeting. When I asked her, she said no. So kind of like, I see how important it is. It doesn't matter how much you have; it matters what you do with it.
Yeah, absolutely, Ashley. Thank you. That's an excellent point. That, I tell people all the time, like, if you don't budget and you start budgeting, it'll feel like you got a raise, even though your income didn't increase. Because, right, Ashley, you're laughing because when you know where every dollar goes, you feel like, oh wow, like I feel like I have more money, even though my income hasn't increased. And that kind of brings me to the next question. I'm going to put in the chat box and I'll also read it. And if you have an answer, please raise your hand and let me know. Why is having a household budget so important to your success? I mean, you're going to the working world here soon. You're going to be earning a good wage. So why is having a household budget so important to your long-term success? I saw Usman's hand first. Usman, Majida, then Moses.
Hello, guys. I believe household income is very important and crucial to your success, because it gives you a game plan, a clear game plan. Because if you know what you're gonna be spent, like if you could estimate what you're gonna make in a year, how much you're gonna spend, and then you stay true to that. Like then whatever original plan you guys had, you guys should be able to keep it. So like if you were planning to save an extra 10,000 or save for a vacation, you should be able to do it if you keep strict to your budget.
Yeah, excellent point, Usman. Thank you so much. It's making a plan, whether it's by yourself or it's with your family, saying like, hey, our goal, like to Usman's point, we want to save $10,000 this year. So how are you going to do that? You're going to do that a little bit at a time. Every single paycheck, you're going to put back a few dollars. That by the end of the year, you have that extra 10,000 for whatever it is you need that for. Great point, Usman. Majida?
I also, to piggyback what Usman said, is that like knowing where all of your money is being spent, you kind of see like how much is going towards the electricity bill, the water bill, and like actually knowing how much goes towards it. Sometimes you could actually save up on that, like wasting like the water that you use or the amount of water you use, you could actually decrease that. And then also like sometimes if you like have the urge to like just splurge, the moment you realize this is like how much money you have, and like the thought of like having less money than before, it kind of might hold you back from actually like splurging your money or wasting that money onto something else.
Yeah, excellent point, Majida. How many of you can raise your hand had a dad or a mom that would yell at you if you left the door open too long, like and the heat would go out the door or the light would stay on, or like, what are you doing? Why is the light on? Nobody's in that room. I think that's like kind of the universal parent thing, no matter what our background or culture is. We've all got yelled at by our parents because we've let the warm air out or whatever, because that stuff costs money, to Majida's point. And when you don't see the bill and it doesn't really affect you, you don't care. But when you're paying that bill every single month, like, gosh, why is this light on when nobody's in this room? Excellent point. And also to Majida's point, I'm a big fan of when you want to splurge. Suppose you want to go buy those $200 pair of sneakers, go to the ATM and get money out of the bank, get all 20s, and then look at that $200 in your hand and be like, oh, do I really want to lose this to get a pair of shoes? I'm telling you, it does something to you psychologically. Like when you look at that, the cash as opposed to the card, it just does something. Like, I don't know if I want to lose this. This is a lot of money. All right, I'm trying to manage the hands. So it looks like David.
Yes. So
I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. It was Moses. Then did you have another point, or was that from earlier?
No, I actually had a point.
Yeah, Moses. We'll go Moses, then David. Yeah.
I was going to say budgeting also allows you to predict your expenses as well, especially in a good routine. You can predict your expenses ahead of time as well, as it'll give you some time to save up some money just in case of any emergencies. It lets you also create contingencies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the next points I'm going to ask the group is, what percentage of Americans live paycheck to paycheck and don't have any emergency funds. So if something happens, they're, have to put on credit because they have no extra money. David, and then we'll go to Hannah next.
Yeah, I just want to piggyback off what Moses just said. You also sometimes you want to keep your finances on track, and especially if you recently incurred like a huge unexpected expenses, or if you lost income, then you can, or if you had hours cut, and filing for like unemployment also helps you. But then again, that won't also help you in the long run. That's why it's better to keep a household budget. Some people might say it's scary or like really time complicated, but it's honestly the best thing to do, like if you're not working.
Yeah, agree. And the thing of it is about creating a budget is that like on the front end, it's a lot of work, but then once you get into the groove of things, it's maybe like 15 minutes a week of just putting in your expenses for the week, and then you just keep on moving. So it's like one of those things. It's kind of like flossing your teeth, right? Nobody wants to do it until you get cavities, and they're really painful, right? So that little few minutes a day, it goes a long way. That's just somebody who doesn't floss as often as he should. All right, Hannah, did you put your hand down?
Yeah, because I was saying like once you start budgeting, it actually becomes pretty easy, and you actually learn like when you know where your money's going, you can know how to spend more on the things that you want, even if they are kind of expensive. You learn how to gain those things just by knowing where every single dime is going.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Hannah. Amna?
I had my hand up from before from one of the questions you asked.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Yell at you for the electricity bill and the water bill.
Oh yes, I'm gonna yell at you for the electric bill and the water bill. Yeah, of course. Awesome. Thanks, Amna. Shantae?
For me, I was agreeing with what you were saying. Like, it's good to have like a budget, because like for me personally, I have 3 ways of doing it. Like I have money for needs, wants, and like an emergency fund.
Great.
So like every time I get paid, I would like split it into the accounts and everything.
Yeah, I love that. So that's a good method to go. All right, we're gonna go Pablo, Ricky, and Usman, and then we're gonna keep on moving. Pablo?
I was gonna say was that the household budget. So like before quarantine and all of that, like some people might have not saved up, but then some people have. Like I'm pretty sure like most middle class families probably did have money saved, and those who stopped working and didn't receive money from the government,
Right.
that's how they maintained themselves, because they had a budget aside for like emergencies.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing is like take COVID-19, like 1 year ago, nobody could have guessed that our whole entire, world would go into a lockdown and people would be losing jobs, left and right. So having that, savings is so critical. You never know what's going to happen. Thank you, Pablo. Yeah, Rick?
Yeah, going into the household thing. I started doing that recently, and I wasn't doing it before. And right now that I'm not making as much money as when I was making when I was working my 2 jobs as a server,
Right.
and making a lot of money, I see myself with more money now that I'm budgeting, even though I'm making way less money.
Right.
Because I have everything planned out and everything is already set for a certain, like this certain amount of money is for this and I can't touch it. So
Yeah.
it actually really helps out.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Rick. And that seems to be the recurring theme is that, if you make a budget, it's almost like you have a raise, even if you're making less money. All right, let me ask you a question. If you give me a guess in the chat box, what percentage of Americans live check to check? What do you think? 50, 65, 45, 85, 70? So Jaleesa got it right. It's about 80% of people. So 80% of Americans, they live check to check. If they missed a payment, if they didn't get paid this Friday, they won't be able to pay their bills. So 4 out of 5 people that you and I know, and if you're anything like me, my family growing up, they were this way. They lived paycheck to paycheck, and they wouldn't pay bills because they had to wait till the money came in and things like this. And that's a really stressful way to live. I mean, there's no doubt about it, to live yourself that way. And one of the things that I really want to encourage us to do this week as we talk about Excel is to make it really practical. Okay, so what I mean by that is that you're going to learn something that's going to help you in the long run, even after you're up. And I really am a big believer in having a budget. Like I don't want to brag or anything like that, but like my wife and I have had a budget our whole marriage, and we actually paid off our student loans debts very early in our relationship, and have been able to be debt free for most of our marriage, and that put us in a really, really good position, in a lot of ways. And here's an example. We have a really good friend of ours who's doing really, really important humanitarian work, working with refugees and helping them, through their plight. And it's just really, really sad to hear the stories that she shares of the struggles that she's having. And, she called us, a few weeks ago and was sharing that she's trying to raise some money. And I asked my wife, well, what should we do? This is someone that we love and we care about, is doing really important work. And my wife goes, oh, we should send her $1,000. And I'm like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, of course. This is someone that we care about and is doing really important work. And that makes me really happy that we can do that. That someone that we are, we love and we care about, that we can say, hey, keep doing the good work that you're doing. Here's some money to help you along. And if you were living, paycheck to paycheck and you couldn't afford to make, ends meet, it'd be really hard to be generous and do things like that. And that's one of the things I want to encourage us all to really consider is that, building wealth and having a budget and making a plan is not just so you can have a nice car or cool shoes or live in a cool house. It's so you can help other people as well come along, because people have helped you along the way. They've helped me along the way. and we want to make sure that we pay it forward. All right. So that's my 2 cents about budgeting. So yes, absolutely, Usman. I couldn't agree more. Generational wealth. Like, you want to pass on wealth to your children, don't you? And to your children's children. Like, you don't want to pass away, 50, 60, 70, 80 years from now and be like, oh, Eric's gone. He left us a whole entire, slew of debt. Thanks, Grandpa. It's like, no, Eric's gone. Like, we're sad about that, but he left us something as an inheritance. Like, that's the goal, isn't it? Isn't that the dream? So, any other questions or comments on that before we talk about the video? You can raise your hand. Are we all on the same page with that? We're all in agreement. Like, yeah, I would like to, have a budget, have a plan, get a job, but not just think just because I have a nice paycheck, I'm automatically going to be rich, because you have to have a plan. All right. So we're going to do this. I have we do have a hand up. Yeah, David, or hand down.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to make like a quick question. So it's like, I know the businesses again are starting to shut down, like in the state, well, in certain boroughs. Like, do you know like how that would affect like non-essential businesses or people who work in those non-essential businesses?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, right now there's a whole skew of things we can discuss. There's supposed to be another stimulus coming through, but it's being blocked right now on the floor. It's just like a lot. There's a lot going on right now, in our politics and everything like this. But one thing that I would share is that, like, I advise people that if you get rid of all of your debt, student loans, car notes, all these things, you should have in your bank account 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved. Okay. So if it costs you $4,000 a month to live, you should have $12,000 to $24,000 in your bank account at all times, because things like this could happen. COVID-19 could happen. You could get injured at your job and not be able to work. You could get laid off. Your child could get sick. Your parent could get sick. There's a lot of things that happen in our lives. So I know not everybody can do that. I know it takes years upon years upon years to acquire that kind of, capital, but it is a really good standard for people to really think seriously about. Like, get rid of my debt and have at least 3 months of emergency funds in the bank, so that if, God forbid, my business closed down or I lose I lose my job, or I get sick, or I get injured, that at least for 90 days, like, I'm okay. I can hang on. I can look for another job. I can figure out something. But to answer your question at a macro level, no, that's not really my expertise. You'd have to talk to, Sadea or someone smarter than me, like her.
Thank you, Eric.
You're welcome. All right. So this is a 10-minute YouTube video I want you to watch on budgeting. Let's put ourselves off camera and let's come back. Let's say 11:15. All right. All right, folks. It's 11:15. If you're back to your desk, please put your camera back on. So I want to say something really quickly. The first thing is that you probably never heard a professor or instructor or teacher ever say this before, but I'm going to say it. 80% of the time that I'm instructing you, it's going to be right. All right. And 20% it's going to be wrong, because I'm a human. And if I'm ever say something wrong, don't be afraid to raise your hand and be like, hey, Eric, I don't think that's totally right. We're all adults here. I promise I can handle it, and I want to do what's right. So I was calling that phrase earlier lifestyle drift. It's actually lifestyle creep. Lifestyle drift is something totally different. I was getting my terms mixed up. I apologize for any confusion. And I just put a link in there, lifestyle creep. I encourage you to check it out. It's a really powerful and interesting matter. But yeah, I totally mean it. I mean, we're all adults here. And if I make a mistake, if I say something wrong, I'm not going to be embarrassed if you're like, hey, Eric, I think you got that a little bit wrong. Or about this. And all right, yeah, totally. I'm here to learn from you, just like you're here to learn from me. So anyways, lifestyle creep is what it's called. All right. We understood what you meant. It's cool. Thanks, Pablo, for that assurance. All right. Dave Ramsey, he's a very, very intense person, isn't he? And he has a lot of passion about this idea of budgeting. Do me a favor and raise your hand if you want to talk about that video and kind of a thought that you had or a question you had about it. All right, Shantae.
For me, when I was listening to him, it was like I was hearing him because, like I said, I love brutal honesty. Like, I don't like when people sugarcoat things. So the way he was just like talking was like so passionate, or especially when he was talking about if a person is at a company and they deserve to be fired, you deserve to be fired because you're incompetent. Like something like that. If I was in a workplace like that, I would like feel very scared to have a boss like that. And then for him, like when he was talking about downloading a free app about budgeting, like I agree with him because a lot of people always want to find like the high expensive thing for something. It's the same thing where it's you get it for free. So yeah, but I liked his video.
Good. Thank you, Shantae. Yeah, he definitely is very intense. Some people can find him a little bit scary, but I like what he says. He's like, listen, if you were the CEO of your company, Me.Inc., would you fire yourself? It's like, oh, geez, that's kind of a sobering thought, isn't it? All right, Andre.
So when I first started watching the video, I thought it was something that was going to be under more the lines of a whole analytical financial perspective, but it was talking more about the video had mainly to do with people's willpower, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Like you make a budget, it's really nothing more than addition and subtraction. You really have to stick to make small sacrifices, but it's all in how much do you actually want for this budget to work.
Absolutely. That's exactly it. It's just using that willpower and saying, will I sacrifice for the short term for benefits for the long term? Excellent observation. David?
Yeah, when he said your money is not in control when you're not in control, I totally agree with that because sometimes somebody can make so little, but they can treat it as so much, so they'll go out and they'll buy like the new pair of Jordans, or they'll go out and buy all these expensive things, thinking like, oh, I can just make this money within a week, but that money that you make within a week, it's still not going to be enough to cover basic expenses.
Yeah, absolutely. And the interesting thing too about it is like you don't have to have a humongous income to live a good lifestyle, as long as you can know how to manage your money well. Really good point. Moses?
Hey, yeah, what I really thought, I downloaded the app. I got really excited about it. Like I was definitely into it. Like I was like getting excited from the pep talk.
Yeah.
Like I immediately downloaded the app. I'm like, I'm definitely gonna give this a shot.
Awesome. I'm really happy to hear that. I really encourage you to check out his other videos. He he's I don't agree with everything he says. Like I don't agree with everything anybody says, but I think a lot of what he shares is really good common sense that can help you, accumulate wealth and eliminate debt and all those good things. Usman?
The thing about taking countermeasures really stuck out to me, and like it also has something to do with will. Like let's say if I'm planning on only spending like this set amount of money, but then something else comes up and I have to spend, like I could still balance. Like let's say like if I use more emergency money than I thought, so like I could deduce my fund money or my going out money to calibrate, so to make sure I'm still on track. So yeah, going back to the written budget, whenever you go outside of your budget, you always come back and make sure to write it down, like reorganize.
Yeah, absolutely. To make sure that you go back and double check 100%, Usman. We'll do Pablo, then Rahul, then we're going to demo a budget for the last 20 minutes of class. Pablo?
What I was going to say is that like the video was very informative because like for me, like I don't know, like it's a problem that I have that I just like to spend money. And it's a bad habit, like if I see something that I want, like, I have to get it. Or if like, let's say like, I like to eat out a lot too, like, and not just by myself, like, with my friends and stuff like that. Like, it's just, I don't like to maintain a budget because like at the end of the day, the money is just gonna disappear anyways. But, looking at this video, like how he talks about like everything, like it is true. Like you do need to budget your money because it's just better for you in the long run.
Yeah, and the thing of it is like no one's saying don't go out to eat or don't buy things that you like. It's just saying, this month I'm going to spend $200 on restaurants, and if I blow all that in the first week, well, guess what? I'm not going to. I'm eating at home the next 3 weeks, and that's where that discipline comes in. That Andre said earlier. Yeah, Rahul.
He actually, the person in the video actually reminds me of that CNBC guy. I don't know if you're familiar with him, Jim something, I believe.
Yeah, I don't really watch the news, so sorry, I'm the wrong person to ask.
He's a stock guy, and he has the same mentality and same demeanor. Very
Gotcha.
hyper, very passionate. But yeah, the advice is really good, and I've tried one of these budgeting apps before. Didn't really give it the time of day. But
Right.
it is really important, and I'm gonna look into it. I don't think I'm gonna go for that exact app, but I'm gonna look into other apps as well.
Yeah, and then apps are good. I personally just like the good old Excel spreadsheet, and that's what we're going to talk about today and tomorrow. But some people prefer the apps. It's just as long as you have a plan, that's the most important thing. All right, Manny, last comment.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Pablo that before the whole quarantine, the whole pandemic, I didn't like having a budget. I was like, you know what, I'm getting paid like 3 or 4 digits. Let me go and go to a steakhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And I was me and my friends, sometimes my little brother, my family.
Yeah.
After this whole thing started, I was like, okay, now this means I can save money because restaurants are open. I could just go and do take and deliver.
Right.
And what this guy did, he said, what's more, I also downloaded the app as Moses did. So let's see, like having a budget, let's see where that goes.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much. So let me go ahead and pull up my book. Ashley Gavin, can you see that screen? You there, Ashley?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, it wasn't unmuting. Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, great, Ashley. I'm gonna have to rely on you quite a bit for this exercise, just so people can raise their hand and answer. So, as you can see here, this is a very simple monthly budget, income, expenses. So let's just imagine that you're making a budget for yourself, like a year from now. Okay, so a year from now, how much money do you think you're going to be earning? Raise your hand, and Ashley Gavin will call on you.
Jesus, you can go ahead.
Hopefully around 35K.
All right. So let's say you make 35K divided by 12. You're making that much a month. But then how much do you think that is going to come out in taxes? And someone want to raise their hand and make a estimated guess. If you're making 35K a year, you're making almost $3,000 a month. But how much is coming out of taxes? Like how much are you actually taking home? Raise your hand.
Andre, you can go ahead.
I think like about 1,900.
It's going to come out in taxes?
No, that's how much you as takeaway.
Sure. So you think your take-home pay is about that much? All right, we'll go ahead and go with that number then. Let's say let's do 2,000, make an even amount. So let's do actually job. You're making $2,000 a month take-home pay. All right. Now let's imagine you have like a side hustle as well. Let's say you do Uber Eats. Let's say you do DoorDash. Let's say you babysit your little brother. Let's say you do something where you make some side money. So raise your hand. How much side money do you think is realistic to make in a given month?
You can go ahead, Hannah.
Can I quickly just say something really quick?
Sure.
Can we count all this as tax money, probably health insurance as well?
Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to work with how much money are we actually receiving in our paycheck, because we can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't record like how much we're going to be we'll just assume that your health insurance has already come out. Yeah, because most like I said, that's how my job works. I get my paycheck, but my health insurance has already been deducted. So yeah, your taxes, your health insurance, you'll even say your retirement, all that's taken out. So that's a good note.
So I think side money, a fair one, 700 to 800.
Okay. So let's say 750. All right. So now if I want to add those two together, what am I going to say? What formula am I going to use? Can you raise your hand and tell me?
Chelsea, you can go.
What am I putting in F5 to add those two together?
Oh no, my hand was up from before.
Okay.
Okay. Majida, you can go.
You could just put in some and then parentheses.
Yep. And then I'm gonna put my cells. 3. And then F4. All right, so this is important. I want to make this distinction really quickly. When you do your deliverable for your personal budget, this has to be highlighted in yellow. Thank you, Majida, because I have to be able to go to your spreadsheet very quickly and see where your formula is. If I go to your yellow formula and I press on it and it says 2750, you're not getting any credit. It has to be a formula up here. So I want to make sure everybody's clear on that. That's how it works. So I'm going to actually move expenses, so it's not so jumbled. All right. First expense. What do you think? Raise your hand. What should we put here for our first expense?
Lewis, you can go.
Sorry, you caught me off guard. Well, because I don't really know the living conditions of this person, so you could just put cell phone bill.
All right, cell phone.
Yeah.
And how much is your cell phone going to be a month?
Well, if that was me, I would go with Metro. They only charge $30 a month.
All right, man. I love it, Luis. Thank you. All right, so your cell phone bill. All right, thanks, Luis. What else we got to put on here?
Ashley Ross.
Food.
Food. All right, are we talking restaurants or groceries?
We're talking groceries.
All right, how much you think? We're going to assume this is a single person living by him or herself, working a job. How much are they paying for groceries in a month?
$250.
All right, sounds good. All right, what else are expenses?
Go ahead, David.
Thanks, Ashley. I would say cable would pay like $145.
Okay, so they're watching TV. Got to make sure they watch all the games, right? All right, what else? Next person, Ashley.
Amadul.
I'll say clothing for
Yep.
like 100.
100 for clothing. Yep, you need that. All right, what else?
Ricardo.
Rent, most important one.
Yep, how much do you think this person should pay for rent?
Well, based on his expenses, I'm saying he's gonna be paying like $500 a month.
Okay. So this person, if he's paying $500 a month or she's paying that, she's probably renting a room with roommates. So let's just suppose she lives in like a 3-bedroom apartment with 2 other roommates. It's $1,500 a month. They live in, in outer borough. They live in Jersey, and they pay $500. So that's pretty good. If your rent's $500 and you make, $2,750, take home, that's a really good ratio. All right, what else?
Moses, you can go.
I'm gonna say maybe insurance, probably be 100.
All right, is that like car insurance? Because we already got health insurance covered.
Car insurance, yeah.
Yeah, car insurance 100. Don't need that. So say car insurance is 100. And also just to clarify, health insurance. What else do we say? And retirement and taxes are already taken out, so we don't have to worry about paying those right now. All right, let's do like 2 or 3 more.
Okay, you could do Hannah, Andre, and then Majida.
All right, so
I
Hannah.
guess I guess after all this, now you kind of have fun money, I guess. Are we creating a savings for this person? Because we're saying fresh out of year up, and we have a job now.
Yep.
So we learn how to budget. So now we want to have a savings.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. How much should this person with this income and with this lifestyle, how much should they be saving per month, you think?
Lord have mercy. I'm not gonna beg them. Let's do $100 a month, 75 a month.
You said 100 or 175?
No, $75.
75 a month savings. Okay. All right. Who's next?
Andre's next.
I don't know whose rent is $500 in New York, but okay. I think electricity.
Yep, electric. Okay, I'm glad someone brought that up. That's important. How much is that a month, you think?
Let's try 100.
All right. And just to clarify, like I have friends in the Bronx who live on St. Anne's Avenue, and they have a 3-bedroom, and it's $1,500 a month, and they pay $500 each. So it is doable, if you don't mind living with roommates. All right, so electric is $100. That seems about right. All right, let's do one more.
I was gonna say utilities, but I think electric is separated, so like maybe gas.
Yeah, sure. Get some places in New York you have to pay for gas. How much do you think gas costs per month?
100.
Let's do 100. All right, great. Some places also they require water. Some places require a fee for like taking the trash. There's just all sorts of small little things that add up. All right, now I'm going to ask a poll. I'm going to ask Ashley Gavin to answer it for me. Give me a green check if you think this person has student loans, or a red X if you're like, no, this person has no student loans. Should this person have student loans? Yes or no?
You want me to only answer it?
No, I want you, Ashley, to tell me what are most people saying, and on the right side is saying yes, give this person student loans, or red X, no student loans.
Seeing a good mix, mostly X's, but.
All right, so we're gonna say this person has no student loans, but we're gonna say this person has a credit card debt. All right, does someone want to raise their hand? How much of credit card debt should this person be paying off every single month? Ashley, you can call on someone. Yeah.
Moses or David or someone.
I would say maybe 500.
All right, so they got a big credit card bill. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and say this is like the entirety of their expenses, okay? Now, hold on, let me go ahead and do this. Let me do put it in the chat box. Let me know what you think. Is this person going to have leftover money? Yes or no? In the chat box, what do you think?
Actually, no. Oh, everyone's basically saying no.
Everyone's saying no? All right, well, let's take a look. So remember our formula? So we want I2, I3 through I11. No, not all of 11, just I11. My fault, guys. All right, hold on. I gotta go backwards. I3. Actually, no, there's an easier way to do this. I'm going to show you the easier way. You press that. You go to formulas. You press auto sum. Bada bing, bada boom. Look at that. $1,900 is all this person has spent in a month. Everyone said no. They wouldn't have any leftover money. But they have over almost $1,000 left over when all said and done. That's pretty good, isn't it? So some of you are like shocked right now. Like, wait, how did that happen? Because they have a budget. Because they have a budget. And also, I want to remind you, when you do deliverable, you have to have two formulas. They both have to be highlighted yellow, the total here and the total there. Now, Moses, you mentioned that he or she has $500 credit card bill, per month. What do you think we should be doing with that? You think we should be bumping that up a little bit?
You know what? Knowing myself, I would keep it at 500 to be safe, because I usually, when I first opened a credit card, someone advised me don't try to open up a credit card more than you're able to make. Like,
Okay.
don't get a limit above what you're able to make in a week.
Like saying don't. Okay, I gotcha. Anybody else that want to raise their hand and speak to this budget? Like, how might you change the whole entire budget now that you know that you have an extra?
Can I go?
Yeah, can you raise your hand? Ashley will call on you.
Go ahead, Usman.
That wasn't me earlier, but since you want me to go, okay.
Oh.
More savings.
Okay, so how much you want to put in savings for this person?
Yeah, 75. Like, save $1,000.
Yeah, at least.
You want to save $1,000 a month for this person?
Yeah. Oh, I'm saving 75,000.
All right, now this person's over budget though. See? Now
I would
it's
say like 300.
300.
Actually, you know what? May I correct with something real quick?
Sure. What's up?
So yeah, I was thinking maybe, you know what, I was gonna piggyback off of Usman, had to say it's a pretty good idea, but I would say stick with 500. That way you at least have some money for yourself, because I don't see any any expenses towards what you want to do. I see a lot of necessities.
Oh, interesting. Yes, a really good point. So we talked about today, this is all like the essentials, but we don't really we have clothing. I guess you could kind of qualify that as your own stuff, but not really. You need clothes to kind of live your life. Yeah. So there you go.
I have a suggestion.
Yeah, Andre. And let's make sure we keep our norms in check. To raise your hand and Ashley will call on you.
Sorry.
It's okay. What's up, Andre?
Thinking about reducing the cable, since there's a lot of streaming services, which is significantly less than $100.
Yeah. Because you could lower this. You could say, you know what? I'm just going to get Netflix and Hulu, and that's going to cost me how much, Andre? $25 a month? Is that about right?
Yeah, well.
All right. So there you go. Now you have that. So as you can see, like you can play around with this. So when you do your actual monthly budget, what I want you to do is make sure that these are highlighted yellow. Please make sure that these are formulas. I don't want anybody doing this. If you do this, you're going to get a bad grade. Okay.
Eric, Ashley Ross has a question.
Yeah, Ashley, let's hear it.
Hi, thank you, Ashley. So my question is about this person's credit card debt. So for the 500, do they owe $500 only, or they're paying $500 a month on a credit card debt that's like $10,000-$15,000?
How about we say that they have a credit card debt that's $5,000 and they're paying $500 a month?
Okay.
What do you think you would do with that? If this was you and you have $5,000 credit card and this was your income, how would you be attacking your credit card debt with this budget?
I would allocate that money towards the paying off my credit card so I could save money like later on, like with the interest fees and stuff.
Ashley, you're speaking my exact language. If I was this person, I would do the same thing. Any extra money that I have after paying for my essentials, it's all going towards my credit card because I don't want to have any credit card debt. Because if you go ahead and look at go online, type in like $5,000 credit card, $500 a month I'm going to pay, and look at how much you'll actually pay when it's all said and done after interest, it's very painful. So that's a really good point. Yeah, if you only had a $500 credit card debt and that was it, sure, knock it out and you're done. But if you have a much larger one, then yeah, you have to really make sure that you knock that out as soon as possible. Any more hands raised, Ashley? I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
There's a lot of hands. I'm not sure if they were raising it from before. I see Ricardo, Andre, and Moses, but I don't know if they have a question now.
Okay, so it looks like the hands are going down, and Moses might have a question or a comment.
Yes, I did actually. What I was looking at the budget, like I know now, like when I was looking at the cell phone services and then the cable, when Andre brought it up, I thought to myself, wait, there's some services that bundle, streaming services and your phone together.
Yeah, that's a good point. You could do that too. I mean, it really depends on what your lifestyle is. Like for me, like I don't have time to watch TV, so we have Netflix, and it costs $7.99. And that's, what it is. And I'm okay with that. But some people they like to watch TV a lot. They like to watch the football games or NFL Sunday Ticket. And that's what they enjoy. So great. More power to them. It just depends on what you're interested in. So. All right. So we got 5 minutes left. Are there any questions on this before we talk about the deliverable and wrap up class? Let me go ahead and put the deliverable in the chat box. Ashley Gavin, you were a fabulous assistant instructor today. We appreciate you. Thank you. And yes, there are also free streaming apps as well. So Ashley, Gavin, if you don't mind, can you please read the deliverable and then we'll go ahead and call to class.
Okay. It says complete your household budget and submit by Thursday at 11:59 p.m. Your worksheet should be clean, organized, and must have at least 2 formulas. The cells contain the formulas need have a yellow background to be easily identified. Must upload as a XLS. Can I ask what that is? Because for like Mac users, because I have a MacBook still, but yeah. And then also,
Of course, and then they responded to the two things on the videos on Excel. Yes. So the thing of it is like you have to save your spreadsheet in its natural form. Okay. So like if you screenshot your spreadsheet and send it to me, I won't know if you actually use the formula or not, because just all I'll see is an image. So like I need you to save it in its natural form and submit that. Okay. So screenshots don't work for this assignment. Okay. That's what I mean. But whether you're on a Mac or a PC, either one works. But please, like, go to your, make your spreadsheet, make your budget, save it like as it is. Don't save it as like anything different, a PDF or anything. Save it as it is and submit that. If not, then I'm going to see like a blank screen. I'm like, well, I can't click on this. I don't know what this is. So, and please make sure, this is so important, guys. I don't want you to lose points on this, that your formulas, there's two formulas, your total income, your total expenses, that you have that's highlighted in yellow. All right. That way I can very quickly, because there's 35 of us in this class, and very quickly go in, make sure that you have your formulas right. And then we are good there. All right. Are there any questions on the deliverable?
Yeah. So we're just doing our income and our expenses, right?
Precisely. Yes, exactly. Thanks, Natali. Yeah, David?
Yeah, so for you want us to just highlight the total or the formulas?
I want you to like the total is going to be the formula. Like, see how remember how we did the last one? Here, I'll pull it back up real quick. Bum, bum, bum. All right. So like here's like that's my total, right? And that's my formula as well. So you go up here to the yellow paint bucket, you paint it yellow, and then that way I can go in and click on it. Okay, he did the formula. Okay, he did the formula. All right.
Okay.
So that just helps me grade it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome. All right. We'll officially end there. If you guys stay back and talk, I'm here. Have a great day, everybody, and see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Quick question, Eric. Is due tonight or tomorrow?
Tomorrow night. Yeah, tomorrow night.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Feel better.
Thank
Oh,
you.
I have a question. We don't have to put in